Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Karen. I'm going to be your facilitator today. I love that rendition of the old 90s Aqua song. I love everything about the empowerment of that. And I haven't gone to see the Barbie movie yet, but I hear it has a feminist edge to it, which I think that song does too. So I'm kind of excited to go see it. In the chat supporting me today is my wonderful Jen K. She's coming on, give you a wave. So she's going to support you in the chat anyway. If you have any questions or issues, she's there. We love that. She's also there to help lift us up, which is just a beautiful way to start a Monday morning. Is there anyone that this is their very first social? If it is, let us know in the chat. Last night we had a lot of people that are starting in August. Couple of housekeeping tips. Please make sure your chat is set to everyone. That's how we communicate. Christy, this is a cameras off event. Welcome, welcome. So you don't have to worry about being on camera. You can participate as much or as little as you want in the chat. Sometimes the chat can go rather fast. If it's your very first time here, I recommend taking screenshots and maybe just hanging out, taking notes, because it can become a little overwhelming the very first time, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. Like I filled out my weekly planner. It's not pretty, but it has all the things that I need in about 10 minutes today. So, it definitely can do it. Well, welcome, Amanda. Also, a little bit of housekeeping to know is that if you're on an iPhone or iPad, sometimes the chat will default to host and panelist, and then no one's going to see it besides me and Jen. So there we go. So if you've picked your Barbie accessory, here is your affirmation. So if you like your affirmation, you may want to write it in maybe your one spot or your scratch pad in your weekly setup, or maybe in an area that you repurpose, such as your shopping list or your to-do list in your weekly spread. Excuse me. I also love over on the right-hand side, this quote. It's easy to spot strong women. They lift each other up. And that's the one thing I absolutely love about Silk and Saunders is this is the community where we actually lift each other up. And I just thought that was a really nice thinking of how we support one another. And if you don't identify as a woman and you are here, you are still absolutely welcome here. I just love the message of this, and it could go for any person. Ooh, I love that. I'm a Barbie girl, confident, strong, shining brightly all day long. And I have to say, it was so cute in Sonder Club last night. Someone had taken their affirmations and went and did a filming of herself, and she's dancing around in the water with the affirmations. And it was such an empowering video. So if you haven't seen it on Sonder Club, I definitely recommend clicking the link. It gave me a huge smile. I loved it. So we are still digging into acceptance. I really am enjoying this theme, though it is and can be a little deeper than some of the other themes that we have explored, such as spontaneity last summer. Oh, I love that, Crystal. It's just fun. That came from our Instagram feed on Silk and Saunders. If you are on Instagram and you do not follow Silk and Saunders, I highly recommend it. There is a lot of wonderful content there, and it's usually really fun too. So here are our community guidelines. Be courteous to yourself and others. No promotions or spam. Respect everyone's privacy. No hate speech, bullying. Limit product and accessory questions. If you are like, oh, what kind of pins do you use in your brand new? Don't bleed through. Totally get it. Feel free to ask once, but we don't want it dominating the chat. And those are the types of things that Sonder Club is perfect for. If you have any customer care inquiries, like you don't have a delivery or something, please email hello@silkandsonder.com. Unfortunately, we are contractors, so we do not have access to your account to be able to help you in any way, but the customer service team is there to support you. Sonder Socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community, but you are responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. At this social or at any social, if something doesn't sit right with you, it is absolutely okay not to do it. It's okay to sit on it and look at it later. And it's okay just to know that this isn't something I want to dig into at the moment. Listen to the good music, enjoy the chat, maybe do your color sheet. It is perfectly okay. Make sure that you take care of yourself. Always, always. Our agenda for today is we are going to dive into the acceptance mind map, our rosebud thorn, our weekly setup, and we're going to close out. And Chris, yes, we are glad you're here. Crystal, you were just lifting everyone up this morning. I love it, love it, love it. So our acceptance mind map, we explore acceptance in a little deeper each week. And I'm going to let you know what it is that we're going to be focusing on. But before you do that, if you're brand new, here are some ideas of where in your journal, because this is exclusive to the socials. This is not something in your journal already. So you can use a blank page in your journal. Page 38, the quote, like you can see here, is very popular, kind of divided into those 4 quadrants. Your definition page is also a good place to be able to do it. Your weekly scratch pad, your sticky notes, or if you do not use over here on your right-hand side, I'm not sure if that's our gratitude log or maybe their sleep tracker or expense tracker, but you could definitely repurpose one of those too if you're not using it. So the acceptance mind map, week 1, we looked at self-acceptance. Week 2 was the past. Week 3, we got pretty deep on the future. And today we're going to be looking at the world. Some ways to think about that world. It could be our day-to-day. It could be a community. It could be a community small like Silk and Saunders, or like big like the United States or North America, however it is, or the world in general. Like it says the broader world. So I'm going to show some examples. I'm going to talk through some of the things that I think about with this as well. For me, the world, things I need to accept. I am very much an empath. I take on other people's emotions. I really struggle with boundaries. And so I very much curate my social media. If there's something, I'm a Pilates instructor, and sometimes I have to unfollow people on Pilates, even if I like the community, because something about it doesn't fit well with me. There is a lot of, I'm sure you can imagine, Pilates a lot of times is associated with dance, but there is definitely some instructors who have eating disorders, and it is very upsetting to see people's rib cages and their pelvis bones. And so those types of things, I curate my Instagram very, very carefully. I make sure that I follow people that align with my values. I don't follow people that do tons of, diet culture things in my following, even though I like to eat healthy. I also make sure my feed is full of dogs. For me, it's pitties and Italian Greyhounds and Chihuahuas. My dog is half Italian Greyhound, half Chihuahua, so that's kind of why. And I've always had a love for the velvet hippos, as some people call those pitties. Another thing is that when it comes to the world, I can't control the way others think about me. And this was really hard when we first started becoming facilitators, because we would get feedback from some of the surveys, and people could be really kind of harsh of saying, well, I really didn't like her, or, she said the same thing over and, like these things. And it was very difficult for us and in the greater world too. And so my favorite life coach always says, it's not your business what other people think about you. And I love that. And it's kind of putting a boundary up about that. The third thing that I kind of think about when it comes to the world is that I really struggle with the news, the doom scrolling type things. And so you could agree with this or disagree with this. I don't consume any kind of news. I don't watch any news at all. I do follow things for a limited time on the internet with news sites, but I'm very specific about what it is that I'm looking at, and that kind of helps protect my heart a little bit. Another thing is that when it comes to the greater world, I was a school teacher at a Title I school for about a decade. And some of those kids would not have food, or the electricity would be cut off, or the parent was arrested for prostitution or drugs the night before. And I couldn't control what was happening outside of their life, but what I could control was what was in the classroom for me. And so I tried to make the world a better place through that classroom and giving them a safe environment, making sure their hierarchy of needs were absolutely met. Okay, so a lot of you are definitely focusing on the news as well. This is Maya's, how she kind of looked at hers, looking at ways to be able to help others, looking that there is good and bad, looking for the good. Once again, looking at social media, focusing on my own influence, and time that the world ends will act as though I can't read her writing there, to spin on, and that was a quote. And then this one is from Bailey, here in the world, that we can't control everything, but what we can control, we can make a difference. There will always be reasons people can't see eye to eye, but there will also always be love. When you think about the average person, consider what average is. And so that gives you a different kind of perception about those. And so I'm going to put the quote back, or not quote, the prompt back up on the screen and let you work. And I want to hear all of how you are interpreting this journal prompt this morning. All right. We're gonna be able to move through the next thing, and I think tranquility would be a little less heavy of a month. Those of you who are taking a break from work during this time period. Um, I wanted to bring to your attention, if you haven't seen it, that we have my absolute favorite author with Meha on Thursday doing a fireside chat. It is currently sold out, but I contacted HQ yesterday and they said if you are interested, put yourself on the wait list because there is a good chance that more seats are going to be released. So if this is something you're interested in, please definitely sign up. I love the book. I got it the day it came out. I've always been a huge fan of Gretchen Rubin. Um, I remember reading her book, The Happiness Project, when I was making the move from the US to New Zealand. And it was a really hard time for me. So that was like a grounding stone for me. And I will say the universe just really showed up for me when I was reading the Five Senses book. Because if you haven't read it, she talks a lot about the Met Museum every day she visits the Met. And I was reading the book on an airplane to New York, heading to go to the Met. So I'm all like, the universe really came out. That book was exactly what I needed at that moment in time. Um, our next section is our rosebud thorn. The rose is a highlight, the bud is an emerging opportunity, and a thorn is a challenge. So for me, a rose this week is that I had some of my Pilates students. One brought me flowers, another really fresh blackberries, and those little random acts of kindness made me feel so happy and so confident that I'm doing what it is that I need to do. A bud is an emerging emerging opportunity for me. And I am officially able to start health coaching. I haven't finished the program yet, but I got a certificate this week. So I'm really excited to work with some people past just the health surveys, but start coaching them through some of the things that they are wanting to do as healthy eating, exercise, etc. And then a thorn is a challenge. And a challenge for this week is that I'm a little bit behind in my school and I have a test that I have to take and I'm working all day Saturday and I'm doing several socials on Sunday. So time is going to be tight. So I think, and I have a book club book to finish. So I'm going to have to be really prioritizing my time this week. So I'm going to go off camera, play a little song and let you fill this out. You probably are filling out your rosebud thorn on page 50 from last week, reflecting on the week before. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing those rosebud thorns with us today. Um, Ju- Julia, much love is coming your way from myself, Chin K, as well as the others. And those of you who had wonderful things like wedding showers and such. So glad for that. Um, and Sherry, better sleep and cooking at home, not as planned well. I can relate to that. It feels very relatable to me. Okay, so we're going to dive into our next section, the weekly planner. Couple of groundings here. The most beautiful and profound way to change yourself is to accept yourself completely as imperfect as you are. A gentle reminder, you can be positive, happy, and grateful and still have not so good, awful, or off days. Yes to thinking good thoughts, but also yes to acknowledging and feeling your feelings. You don't have to pretend and you don't have to be perfect. I love that so much. It just gives me shivers thinking about it. If you are new, this is a page you may want to take a screenshot of. It gives you a lot of different ideas for repurposing in your journals. So I'm not going to read through this because a lot of you have heard me read through it about 100 times. But yes, go ahead and take a screenshot of this if you are brand new that you can use and go back to as a reference. So we are diving into page 52. I'm going to share some examples and then give you time to work. I'm showing you full pages, and there's two reasons I use the full pages. One is the way someone sets one section up may inspire you in another section. And number two, it makes me be able to change out my examples every time I present because it's much quicker than having to cut, paste, and move things over. So it just allows me to give you more fresh content. I will go through that, Crystal, the screenshot of the previous slide. So take a quick picture of that. And we will dive into these examples. Okay, so over on the left-hand side, so pretty. I love that on her to-dos, it has some things like face mask and foot soaps. So foot soaks. So she has some things that are going to take care of herself on that to-do list. I also love that she's including her journal time on that. Over on the right, something about the way the goals are set up is really attractive to me. I will go back to the quotes, Tanya, when you have time to work. I don't know who has the wild stickers. I think those are from Michael's because I have some that are pretty similar to that. I also like that on the right-hand side, your to-dos, she's adding it as she goes. That's kind of the way I set mine up too. And also notice in her habit activities, she didn't put a number next to them. If that stresses you out to have a number, keep it blank. No big deal. I also love on this one the need to do versus want to do, and that she had more than one word of how it is that she wants to feel. And also notice in her habits, she has some no goals of no chocolate, no wine, no chips. Over on the right-hand side, it looks like her plan for the morning is in her habit tracker. So she's using it to help set up a morning or evening routine. I also love the stickers of be good, do good, feel good. And on this section, I love the flower. It's just an attractive way to be able to do it. Her me time, getting outside for her sunshine, and then also love the glimmers. Glimmers are those things that are exactly opposite of triggers. It's looking for the good things, those little good things that happen in your day. Over on the right-hand side, her goals, she's been very specific of how she wants to do it and why she wants to feel connected. She's also using a bingo board and also marking out the days that she's wanting to do her webinar. Also notice that this was at the very end of June and she put her July here. Next week, we're going to have a split week. So this is a way you can approach that as well. And I also love, look at all the different color schemes that people are doing of how they're setting their journal up, like these dark greens versus these bright blues. I love that. Couple of things that I love on this one is that she's marking out some of the things in her habit activity and she's circling the days that she's wanting to do them, and that her goals have a home, work, and self. Over on the right-hand side, the to-dos, she's put a bingo board, but she's filling it in as she goes. That's actually a strategy that would work really well for me. And then also brushing her teeth at night. Sometimes it's fine to put a give me an easy one in the habit tracker. It makes you turn to the habit tracker, fill it in. And so therefore you're seeing those habits again. And maybe you might accomplish another one as you mark off that easier one. So the next section is how I want to feel. I'm not going to play a song for this one, but I want you in the chat to think of how you want to feel this week. Maybe you want to feel excited because you're going on vacation. Maybe you're wanting to feel balanced or accomplished. Cheryl wants to feel happy and productive. In the chat, let me know how it is that you would like to feel this morning. I feel warm fuzzies. I love the pizza too, Kara. It's super fun. Focused. What else? How else do you want to feel this week? Hopeful movement. I want to feel accomplished this week. I want to feel really good about taking that test. I want to feel good about myself, in control, motivated, confident, joyful. Yeah, productive and prepared, intentional, back on track, taking control, feeling motivated together. Yes, confident and prepared, present, realigned and present, confident and proud. I love these. If you want to put it on a sticky note and stick it on your mirror this week as a reminder, or your background of your computer or phone, it's a wonderful way to keep it in the mindset. And I want you to keep that in your mind as you work through your habits and goals, and how can those habits and goals support how you want to feel this week. Oh, Julia, awesome. I'm glad that it resonated with you. Here is another quote here. I shared this one last week, but I think it's worth sharing again. You're allowed to be hot, rich, healthy, fulfilled, wildly in love, and be very, very happy. It's perfectly okay to have all those wants. And I don't want you to ever dim your shine because you feel like you're wanting too much or already have too much. Our weekly goals. Sometimes it's really great to use a SMART goal, making sure it's specific, making sure it's measurable, making sure it's achievable, it's realistic and timely. There's all different types of goals. If you're struggling with the goal, this might give you some ideas of a couple of ways that you might want to set up your goals this week. There's short-term, long-term, and lifetime goals. There's health and fitness, career, financial, business, personal, family, educational, like me with my test this week, relationship, personal development, spiritual, psychological, external goals, or experimental goals. Now, obviously, you're not going to do all of those every week, but maybe you don't normally do a spiritual goal, but you want to this week, or maybe a relationship goal that you're like, yeah, I've been kind of neglecting my spouse this week. So that's kind of a way that you can look at it. Also, if you haven't looked back at your intentions in a while that you established at the beginning of the month, or your habit trackers, now's the time to look back at those. You can use the lens of acceptance, no goals or no habits, like you saw in that no chocolate, no chips. You can look at previous weeks and bring back things that maybe you haven't accomplished. Or you can do a single personal challenge, like a fitness challenge or cleaning, decluttering, self-care. I love to do like smoothie challenges or salad challenges. Just kind of makes my week a little more fun. So I'm going to go off camera, play a song, and I will go back to that slide with that quote in just a second. Ooh, Spotify is being very cranky today. I literally couldn't even pause the music. I had to like refresh. So if there's a little music delay, I apologize. I think Spotify has been a little bit weird the last 2 weeks. Heading into our to-dos, another quote here: let July be July, and let August be August, and let yourself just be, even in uncertainty. You don't have to fix everything, and you don't have to solve everything, and you can still find peace and grow in the wild of changing things. I love this one so much. It really kind of helps me think about what are the things I want to do in my to-do list. So some things that are very popular are the to-dos, things that you accomplish, wants, needs, bingo boards, or maybe the Eisenhower matrix. Thank you, Crystal. I like to think about delight, decide, delegate, and delete. So the things I have to do, I try to find a way to delight. And then like getting the oil change, maybe I stop and get coffee at my favorite place that I don't go to very often because it's across town. Or maybe like for me, I have to get the schoolwork done and I have to get the dog walked. So I put my earphones on, get my sunscreen on, and I take a beautiful walk on the water while I listen to the podcast walking the dog. So that's a way I can accomplish those things. And then a lot of people will say, well, I don't have anyone to delegate things to. The there's a lot of times it's just me in the house and my husband's traveling. And so like one way I was able to help myself is I got a Instacart delivery for my groceries. Don't do it all the time, but it made it where I had the things in the house to be able to prepare meals for myself. I was able to eat healthier, and it made a big difference in my well-being because after I was traveling to Madrid, I started getting a sinus infection. So I knew I needed to be really intentional about what it was I was eating. So that's a way that you can think about those delegating. If you use a food service delivery with a food box, that's a way you can delegate. So just thoughts if you don't have anyone in the house to be able to delegate to. All right, let us know what's on your to-dos or what you're repurposing. I'm loving the noticing nature on that one. And it falls right along with the my life in five senses. One thing that you can repurpose in your journal, if you are wanting to go through and notice nature, is every day write down something you experience with each of the five senses. And that actually comes from Gretchen's group. So love that. I have more quotes. What can I say? I really love them. This one on the left, it doesn't necessarily relate with what it is, but I loved it so much. I wanted to share it with you because I feel this in my soul. We get told to put on a brave face, but sometimes the bravest thing is to take that face off. And I don't know if that really resonates with you, but a lot of times we're told we're trying to please others, helping everyone else in the life and not taking care of ourselves. And we're just, putting on that positive face, but inside that's not how it is that we feel. And I want to give you permission to feel the feels and take that mask off. Now, this one goes really well with our habit and activities, that inconsistent ladder versus consistent ladder. I love when people are like, with fitness, how important is consistency? I'm like, I'd rather you work out 15 minutes, 6 days a week than one Pilates class, because cumulative, it adds up. Those little consistent ones are just so good. If we're going to go into those habit and activities, I'm going to scroll through this slide and another slide while you're working. If you are struggling, this is also a good place to put in a morning or evening routine if you're trying to work on it. But I also love this. Today's progress felt flat, right? The year's progress actually looks like this. So if you've been with us since January, maybe make a little note in your calendar to spend 10 minutes this week going back through January's journal to see the growth that you've made in the last 6 months. Okay, this is also an example of some habits and inspiration. I'm gonna let you guys work, and I'll flip back and forth between these two slides. Time is going fast, so we're going to keep on pushing through. Some other examples, we're moving on to page 53. Maybe if you have a spiritual goal, maybe it's Bible verses for you. Your spirituality may look different than that, and you may repurpose in a different way, like being in nature, making connections with others, however it is that you see that. I love the starburst in the mind body health plan. It's just an attractive way to be able to make your journal look awesome. And then don't be afraid to cover up things and put stickers when it doesn't work. The right-hand side, I'm enjoying the reflections. The meal purpose section is the largest section. So So it totally makes sense that if you're going to do a journal prompt, that's where you're going to do it. So I love that. Over here on the right, left-hand side, love the word of the day. It might be Duolingo, might be Wordle, maybe put your score through there. So that's super fun. And then I like that she repurposed for her webinars and what it is that she's going to accomplish. On the right-hand side, I just want to say it's okay to leave things blank in your journal. Maybe if she's filling in her meal plan as she goes of what she ate, or maybe it's not suiting her this week and she's leaving it blank, and that's absolutely okay. One too many. Glad is also a wonderful one. Grateful, learned, accomplished, delighted. Getting outside, that's also kind of like you're focusing on nature. And then the rosebud thorn is what she's loving this week. And then on the right-hand side, I chose this example because it's someone getting ready for vacation. So it is absolutely perfect to use your journal in a way different when your week looks different. So, maybe it's your packing list or the places you want to go and visit. Maybe it's what you're buying at the grocery store or you're bringing from your pantry at home. Any of those things are absolutely wonderful. So the meal plan is the one that is definitely repurposed the most. So here are some ways that it is repurposed. I'm going to go off camera and give you a couple of minutes to work. I must admit that I'm very much, last month we did our create your own bingo board, and I had some recipes on there I wanted to try. And Friday night I made one and it was so good because I wanted to do some grilling and foiled packets for ease. And you know what? Putting it on the grill allowed me to sit outside, noticing nature, having a glass of rosé as I read a book instead of having to saute. So definitely enjoying my meal planning. In summer, right? Thinking about what makes this. I also have some cold meals planned to kind of keep me in touch with my meal plan for the summer. My mind body health plan is next. And I challenge you, if you are feeling a little bit low, that maybe you include some random acts of kindness. Even the smallest gesture can lift the heaviest of hearts, just like those flowers and blackberries for me. Excuse me. And here are some examples. I will let you work. Okay, the next section we're heading to is our shopping list. Here are some ways that people like to repurpose it. You see bingo boards are once again very popular. It can also be a no shopping list or any of these examples here. Some people are using quotes, using it as a packing list. There's no right or wrong way to use the space. If you love it and you want to put a sticker on it and that makes you happy, go for it. I know we have someone who puts a dachshund sticker in this section and it makes me smile every time I see it in Sonder Club. At the same time that you're filling that out, you're also going to be filling out the I am loving. Love this quote too. Today is your day for fresh starts, a new chapter, focusing on what you can control and feeling good. So you're going to have a little time to work on both of these sections. I'll put that shopping list inspiration back up. All right. So we did our shopping list and that I'm loving. I have one more quote here. It's okay if all you did today was survive. And I want you to realize that some days are going to be better than others. And some days you can be super person, some days you cannot. And that's completely and totally normal and okay, especially if you're someone like me who has chronic pain. And so when you're planning your week, be intentional about it. And some days that rose from your rosebud thorn is that you survive, right? That's life. That's okay. I wanted to share some examples of the weekly spread. These are some of mine. Sometimes I use washi tape. Sometimes I actually will fill out my appointments. This helps me when I'm subbing something or if I have some privates that I don't normally do. Love this one that she has her highs or things that she loves, her brain dump, her self-care, and her household. Over here on the right-hand side, you can see her events, her to-dos, and her chores, and her affirmations are all there. Motivation Monday, Transformation Tuesday, Workout Wednesday. So she's getting a little fun with that. Her mind, body, and reflections in there too. It also looks like she has maybe her workouts scheduled there as well. You have maybe a verse. Look at the top with her one thing is something that she accomplished. She has a quote and an affirmation here. And then over here, someone's really cute with the stickers, leaving some blank space, but giving themselves, some of the appointments that they're working on. And over on the right-hand side, I absolutely love this one. Someone used it as a vacation journal with a beautiful drawing in that as well. Over here, we got accomplishments, 3 positives and to-dos for tomorrow. So that's also a fun way to be able to make your calendar work for you. as well as this one. I love this one. It is SCAGT, Starfish, how have I made a difference? A compliment, a good job, which is A as an affirmation, G, grateful or gratitude, and a T, a thank you, who made a difference today. And so that's the way that she kind of reflects. Oh, I love that you shared it. It's gorgeous. Thank you so much for being so willing to share your great ideas with us. I very much encourage you to share your weekly planner. That's where we get these examples from. Every time that we go into the app and we comment on your stuff, we're probably taking screenshots to use it for their socials. Couple of tips if you are sharing your pages, the ones that I utilize the most are if you have one page screenshotted and then the other, if you take a picture like this, it is really hard to blow up to be able to see on the screens. So keep that in mind if you are someone who would get a kick out of seeing your journal at one of the presentations sometime. Refer a friend is still going on. Share your feedback. Let us know what you would, what times that you would like to see, the types of socials you would like to see. This is where you want to be. The YouTube link is here. It takes a couple days for things to be posted on the YouTube channel, but there's over 500 socials there. So if you're really in need of a weekly social, just go pull a past one, even if it's not from that week. It is not searchable. You do need that link. The chat's not there. Sometimes the music's a little iffy if it was copyrighted. So do be aware of that. I will wish you a wonderful week. I hope that you are going to slay this week and you feel really confident and prepared. I am going to share two playlists with you today. One is the instrumental and the other is where I grabbed that first rendition of I'm Not Your Barbie Girl. It is a spin playlist. So if you're looking for something to exercise to this week, it might be fun with a Barbie theme this week. Spin instructors always come up with the absolute funnest playlist. So have a great week. I'm going to go off camera and lead you out with the song.